start our lecture today. أول chapter في reader 3. This chapter is talking about the corporate social responsibility. I tried as much to simplify it. Can you see the PowerPoint slides?
Yes, I
Yeah.
can.
Yes. So in this lecture, we will try to develop an understanding of CSR. We will be discussing the following points. First of all, we want to know what is CSR, the abbreviation of corporate social responsibility. We want to know why it is important or not important. We assume this is like assumption that it's important. We're gonna prove why it's important. We're gonna see how can we implement CSR activities and practices in our organization. We want also to see what does CSR offer to businesses. There is another point at the end of the lecture. We will be talking about CSR activities in small and in large or in big organization. We want to see why CSR activities or CSR in general, why it's difficult to implement, difficult in the implementation. And we want to see the differences between small organization and big organization or large organization from CSR point view. The beginning, if we want to talk about society and business, usually we as customers, from the point of view of customers, we buy products and we buy services without worrying about the impact of those products or services on our society or on ourselves. Why? For a simple reason, because we trust businesses. You do not buy anything from any party that you do not that you don't trust. So trust is an important factor. We trust organization, we trust their products, their services, we trust what they are providing us, and that's why we buy those things, because we believe that business organization do, or at least they should do activities inside their organization that at least that they will not harm us, and they will deliver for us products or services with value. Noting that when this thing fails, what I mean by fails, trust. If the trust fails or this concept fails, that means everything will be falling, and even the organization will fall around. So the businesses are part of our businesses. Usually the businesses that we manage or we work in, they are parts of local, international, and the global context. They have businesses, they have duties, and they have to act upon the expectations and the norms of those local, national, or global context. Businesses usually, as an old concept, there is an old concept in business. Old concept, they call it the do no harm. No harm, which means and we businesses, while they are operating, while they are making money, they're making profits, they are providing jobs for people. They should not harm the people who work inside the organization. First, the employees, they should not harm the society. They should not harm even the environment where the business exists. CSR as a concept, it's an old concept, as I just stated. It was simply they used to state the corporate social responsibility by the do no harm sentence, that businesses should not harm the society or the environment or the people in the organization or outside the organization. As a definition, if we want to define CSR, there are too many definitions for corporate social responsibility. And that's actually due to the fact that this concept is an evolving concept, is still evolving, and is still a concept that has much much debate until now, or until nowadays. And another reason because there is disagreement amongst business, government, and NGOs on the definition of CSR. That's why you will find too many definitions for the term CSR. There are also variety of models, measures, and frameworks for how to implement and how to deal with CSR inside organization. In this chapter, we will actually go through two models, and we will concentrate on one model. One model you are required to know the components of one model, which is the Carroll model, corporate social responsibility. We will mention, or we will at least go and let you know about another model for CSR implementation, which is the Dahel Sur model, and we will differentiate between the components that each model contains. If we want to take a little history about CSR, the evolution of CSR, we will see that in the early definition for CSR started 1950. At that time, it was much or heavily rooted in the social elements of corporate social responsibility. And after that, in the 70s and the 80s, the definitions evolved and started defining corporate social responsibility by mentioning or concentrating, focusing on the institutional role of CSR. The 80s, their 80s, and till today, now the researchers, they are tuning in defining CSR in different ways, and they are using CSR as it called financial impact, and it may be a source of competitive advantage for the organization. If we want to define it, any questions so far? When we define CSR, as I said, there are too many definitions for CSR. I chose about 4 or 5 definitions for you guys to know it. The first definition from the World Business Council for Sustainable Development, they define CSR as the continuing commitment by business to behave ethically and contribute to development while improving the quality of life of the workers and their families, as well as of the local community and the society at large. So you see the different component maybe definition. First, it is stressing corporate social responsibility as a commitment from the business toward society, toward developing the quality of life for the employees and to the local community. This commitment can be interrupted by, at least they are saying here that the businesses in general have to act in an ethical way toward the community. Other definitions for CSR was defined by the World Bank. For example, CSR is commitment of business to sustainable economic. So this is one of the most important roles for the business is to provide economic value for the society. Also working with employees, their families, the community, society at large to improve the quality of life in ways that are both good for business and good for development. Another definition was provided by Kettler and Lee. CSR is a commitment to discretionary business practices and contributions to corporate resources. The definition that I highlighted with red here is Carroll definition, and this is a definition that we want to adapt if in case we being asked to define corporate social responsibility. Carol defines corporate social responsibility of a business is to encompass the economic, legal, ethical, and discretionary expectation that the society has of organization at a given point in time. So this definition, out of this definition, Carol, she came up with four parts, or she came up with the model that we will discuss in details in this lecture, the main model that we will adapt and we will to explain various components of social responsibility. So basically, Carol, she divided corporate social responsibility into four levels. The first level is the economic level. Second level is the legal level. Third is the ethical, and the fourth one is the discretionary level, and she called it expectation. That's what the society, or what the people, the society, the employees, their families, what they are expecting the organization to provide for them. So, as you see from, as long we are talking about corporate social responsibility, we are talking about an evolving concept in business. Nowadays, we are using, and many researchers are using corporate social responsibility as a point of competitive advantage, as one of the ways that you could gain competitive advantage for the business. They are using it to explain that corporate social responsibility, good corporate social responsibility activities will impact our financial return on the business. If we are doing positive activities, it mean that will mean that we will have positive financial impact on the long term. So now we have people, since the term, or since the concept of corporate social responsibility came out, we have people who are with this concept and people against this concept. So the people are some researchers, people, businesses, they are totally against it. Or they reject corporate social responsibility, and they have their own. At the same time, we have people who are with corporate social responsibility, businesses, researchers. They are with this concept, and they have their justification why they are with this concept. So in the following slides, I will go through some of the point of views. First, I will start with the people who are against corporate social responsibility, who are opposing or rejecting CSR. One of the famous researchers in business and management and strategic management who oppose corporate social responsibility is Milton Friedman. Milton Friedman, in his point of view, he is saying that the only social responsibility of business is to increase its profits. So basically, he is one of the researchers, one of the researchers who are adapting the capitalism. Capitalism يعني الرأسمالية. They are adapting capitalism, and in their point of view, and the people, there are many people with him, so I just mentioned him because he's one of the famous people, and many people are following what he is saying. They believe, all those people, that businesses only have one responsibility. Their responsibility is to make a profit. And once they are making enough profits, or they are maximizing their profits, they will hire people. They will give people jobs. Means employee will be working inside the organization. They will take their salaries, and that's the only responsibility. That means businesses are not responsible for doing anything else outside making profit or maximizing the profit. So Friedman and his group, they consider profit as an end itself. So there is nothing after making a profit and giving opportunity for people to work and to have jobs inside the organization. The firm, according to them, does not need to have any additional justification for existing. Only the firms exist just to make a profit. Anything else. According to them, also the social value is maximized when a firm focuses on pursuing its self-interest and attempting to maximize profit. So, and with Friedman, he say if organizations or if corporates start paying too much attention to corporate social responsibility, that means, according to them, that the organization will be spending money out of what they are making profits, out of their profits, right? So if they are spending out of the profits, he is saying that managers, they do not own the right to spend the profit as they want, because this money, the profit, it's owned by the shareholders of the organization, invested their money in the organization. So business managers are not free to spend this money. This money, it's like a return of it's a return on the money that the investors invested in this business. So basically, if you want to just summarize what Friedman's and most of the people that they are against corporate social responsibility, if we want to just summarize their argument, so basically they are saying clearly it's against capitalism, it's against being a dictatorial and living in a free society. They are arguing that it's a waste of resources which legally belong to the firm owners, shareholders, and the executives of the executives of the organization. They are also arguing that social matters are not the concern of business, and that problems should be resolved by other social actors. They mean by that the government. It's not the business responsibility to open streets or to open or to build schools, to help in universities and hospitals. They consider that as a responsibility for the governments and in any country. Businesses, they make a profit, they pay taxes on those profits, and supposedly the business is enough. So the government should use this tax wisely, and they should take care of the community. So it's not a job for the business to take care of the community. The only job for the business is to make money. Any questions so far on those arguments?
No.
Sorry. My question, are you with or against the CSR?
With.
You, as a person, as a manager, are you with corporate social responsibility or against it?
Yes, with.
And Nadana with the rest?
Yes, for me as well.
You are with. I ask you why you are with corporate social responsibility.
In some sides, I guess it reflects and affect the people lifestyle and improve the quality of their life.
The well-being of the lives of people around our business. For reasons. I will give you more reasons. Now we will move to the other point of view, the researchers or people, the businesses whom they are with corporate social responsibility, mainly can categorize the reasons why those people are with CSR into categories. Some people they are suggesting that corporate social responsibility is a good thing to do. The activities are necessarily, the businesses must or should have CSR activities from a moral point of view. Moral and ethical point of view, we call it from moral and ethical point of view, they are with CSR. Other people, they are logically or rationally, they are with corporate social responsibility. Other people, they are from an economic point of view, even from economic point of view and from profit point of view, they are with CSR. And they have their own, each party or each group, they have their own justification. For example, the moral and ethical argument for CSR, they define CSR or they call CSR as equal to the relationship interdependence between a company and the wider society within which it operates. So they are telling us those people for-profit entities do not exist in vacuum. They need to congruent with societal values, which means in those businesses, from ethical and from moral point of view, they have to be ethical and they have to deal with the employees, their families, the society, the environment in a moral way, in an ethical way, because this organization does not exist in vacuum. Whatever this organization does, it may harm. If they does bad thing, it will harm the environment. It will harm the people who work in the organization, or it will harm the society as a whole. If they are doing something good, that will reflect also on the employees, on the society, and on the environment. You do not exist in vacuum. So there is a relation, there is interdependence between the business and between the environment or the context where this business exists. From rational point of view, rational or logical point of view, the rational or the logical argument for CSR, they are suggesting that or arguing that businesses seek to maximize their performance by minimizing restrictions on operations. So they are arguing that even today in globalization and in this wired world, CSR is means of anticipating and reflecting societal concerns to minimize operational and financial limitation on business. So in another words, they are using the iron role of social responsibility. The iron role states that if you abuse your power, face societal sanctions such as laws, fines, prohibition, boycotts, and social activism, which will impact the firm's strategy. Which means, from rational point of view, that you, as an organization, have to obey the rules, regulation, you have to do activities to support your employees, support the community. You have to reserve the environment. And if you don't do that, and the people in the community find out that you are not doing that, or you are harming them or harming the environment, this will subject you pay fines or boycotts, or you will have some social activism, which is they will be against you and against your organization, which will threaten your achieve your purpose of opening the business. From economic point of view, they are suggesting that CSR can provide the businesses with a point of differentiation. Which means you could be unique. If you have unique programs for CSR, you could be unique among other organizations, industry or that you are working on. Number two, they are suggesting that this CSR could be a source of competitive advantage, and it will give you a competitive market away from being subjected to legal or sanctions or boycotts. So you are more likely you are operating as a good citizen in the in the community or in the country where you are operating, it's more likely that you will have legitimacy. legitimacy ايش تعني legitimacy؟ legitimacy بتعني انه you have شرعية، عندك بزنس مشروع شرعي، يعني الناس بينظروا لك انه انت عندك شرعية لوجودك. So this will minimize the cost on you and will maximize your financial viability over the long term. هذا راح يعطيني impact على ال term. راح تكون viable business real business with legitimate business. You are providing the community with services. You will have a competitive market or a competitive advantage, and you will be less subjected to fines or subjected to pay anything, new laws that may affect business or any questions?
سوري بس ما فهمت
تفضل.
آخر إشي، بس سألت سؤال ما فهمته.
سألت إذا في حدا عنده question.
سوري. لا شكرا.
هلا عندنا كمان ايش؟ هلا نيجي it's actually an easy lecture، يعني الترم easy، فاحنا we are just taking like an introduction about the CSR. We are not be details، هذا بنخليه details تبعته. This is part of strategic management course. When you take this course studying corporate social responsibility, you study CBA, which is corporate political activity and stakeholder. Now we come to the models of CSR, models of CSR, or how can we implement CSR? What is the right way to implement CSR? As I stated earlier in the lecture, we have models. First model is Carroll, 1979, which is the Pyramid of Corporate Performance, which is one of the most cited models in the topic. And we have the Daher-Strode model, in which we have 5 dimensions of CSR. We'll be concentrating on Carroll. This is the one you are required to know, and it's in textbook. Carroll Pyramid of Carroll Pyramid brief. It consists of 4 areas or 4 levels. First level is the economic level. Second level is the legal. 3 is the ethical, and number 4 is the philanthropic area, or you can put a slash here, discretionary or philanthropic. Philanthropic or discretionary, it means like closest word to it is voluntary, that you are doing some activities on a voluntary base، يعني بعمل تطوعي. philanthropic اللي هي تطوعية، أشياء غير متوقعة وبتكون تطوعية. When I look to the model start from where? From the economic responsibility, which is, this is one, we agree, Carol agree, everyone, even the people are with CSR, they all agree on the economic responsibility, which is to produce an acceptable return on investment. It's stated to say to maximize the main job, the main duty for the business, the main duty for as a manager in any business is to produce acceptable return on the investment, is to make a profit on the investment that you put in the business. The second responsibility for the business is the legal responsibility, which is here. Look, this is here is required, are required to act within a legal framework. You cannot open a business without getting a license for it. You have to pay social security, you pay taxes, you have to pay the utility, you have to follow the laws and regulation in any country or in any city where you want to operate your business. Third part of the responsibility, according to Carol, the third area is the ethical responsibility. Ethical responsibility is basically not harm. You are operating a business which not harm its stakeholders or the environment. So you are following the ethical, the norms and the ethics of the community or the society where you operate your business in. The fourth part is the discretionary responsibility or the philanthropic responsibility or the voluntary responsibility. Which is here, it means how to benefit the firm and the society. You should have activities that those activities should be of benefits for the different stakeholders in the organization and for society in general. Some of the discretionary responsibilities or the voluntary responsibility, the businesses could participate in open new roads, for example. If you are operating in a village where there is no roads, if there is no school, you could open school or you could upgrade school, libraries. You can make workshops to train people from the community around your business, give them a new skill, support those people to, for example, have an exhibit for employment fair, for example. There are many, or supporting hospitals, supporting kids, supporting women in the women in the community. You supporting many things, the churches, mosques. Those are some of the examples that what businesses can do to the society and to the community. Some of the examples that the businesses can do for the employees. Employees, you are, as a business, you are trying to achieve your goals and you are trying to let those employees work with you to achieve common goals in the, for the organization. But at the same time, you should not forget that those employees, they need to grow, personally grow, and to have a career growth. So they need training, they need development, they need workshops. So this is one of the things that you could do away from the legal or the ethical, the legal or the economic responsibility. You could help your employees. Another example, what you can do for your employees inside the organization. Example, we can see many organizations, they help the employees if they want to read their study or they want to get higher degrees, they want to go to college, universities. Sometimes you will find some of the businesses, they help you as employee, they help you in your kids' tuitions. They provide you support to send your kids to colleges. Some organizations, they provide daycare centers for the employees, for the employee kids for free. Just by doing that, they want to make sure that you are at least comfortable, that your kids are in a safe place. There are many things that the organization can do for employees or society. For the environment, you should be aware that that your business or some of the businesses could cause harm to the environment. So you could use filters, use machines, so you could at least get rid from the wastes that your business could produce. You could use filters, so those wastes can be treated in the right way that will not harm the environment. Be a part of the government, a government project, or you an owner of a project to plant trees, for example, in your society or in the land, so people can get more oxygen and of CO2. There are many things that organization can do. In the case of disasters, for example, whenever there is a disaster, there is a crisis, there is disaster, see that citizens in the community will be looking forward for organizations, for business people to help them to overcome those crises. This is when you know that there is a good business or a bad business. We have the last example from Jordan during the beginning of COVID-19. But there was donation, they open account, donation from the businesses and from the businessmen in the country. So they help the people who are in need. So this is basically the pyramid of CSR. Goes with Carroll definition of CSR. Consists of 4 areas. Look here, the economic responsibility in the bottom, and it's one of the most important things. The main responsibility for the business is to make profits and to maximize those profits. While doing a profit, you have to obey the rules and the regulation in the country. You should not harm your stakeholders or the environment while you are operating the business. The fourth part is the proactive and the strategic part of CSR that you have to provide voluntarily. You have to provide your society with discretionary or philanthropic activities, help them and to improve the well-being of your employees or for the society or the environment at home. The second model of CSR, this is Dahel Srood's put 5 dimension in 2008. This is kind of a new model. So we want to know that this model consists of 5 elements. The first element is the environment, social environment, economic environment, stakeholder environment, and volunteerness environment. So these are five dimensions for this model. CSR could be implemented in each one of those 5 dimensions. Purpose or the goal of whether we are talking about Carroll or Dahel Stroot's model, the main goal is to improve the well-being of stakeholders and environment. Any questions على المودلز؟
No. دكتور في عندي سؤال لو سمحت.
تفضلي روحي.
هلا هي بس مش عن الدايمنشنز، هي عن ال to apply CSR نفسها. هلا دائما انا اذا بدي انه نطبق CSR لازم نفكر انه بالعائد تبعها على الاورجنايزيشن، يعني لازم يكون في بينيفيت مربوط بالبروفيت او بالامبلويي، ولا ممكن انها تنعمل بدون جول واضح؟
It should be. هلا لما نطلع عليها CSR على long term it will bring financial impact. على short term we may not see it. Like for example, if you make a training development for the people in your community, right?
Yes.
This is from a short point of view, from accounting point of view, it's a cost. It's a cost. So you will pay this cost out of your profit. So for example, if this cost you, for example, you are making a profit of 100,000 and this then cost you 10,000, so your profit will decrease by 10,000, will become 90,000 على short term, على accounting term. هلا على long term, what do you expect? على long term, ال CSR activities, they should pay you back على long term. How it could pay back على long term? The people that you train in the community, they will find jobs. They will have more skills. They will work. They will be in your community. They will buy your products and services. They will make a good image out of you as organization. They will be talking nice about you. راح يعطونا good reputation, right?
Yes.
كمان راح يكونوا عندنا customers. فبدل ما احنا instead of making 100,000 we might start making 120,000. بس هذا الشيء ما راح يبين على الشورت تيرم. هي واحدة من المشاكل اللي ب CSR. One of the main problems ب CSR بالactivities that organization want to do, it look from accounting point of view that it's a cost. From economic point of view, it's a win But this one we will generate it on the long term. It will need many years, sometimes many years, to generate what we spend on those activities.
Mm. And that's why it is difficult to justify the need of CSR for the
Yes,
management
plus
or the finance
عندنا
people.
يعني justification بيكون عندنا في إلنا مشكلة contradiction. mistake الشير الانفسترز الاونرز الشير they invested 100,000. They want a profit 50,000. You want to justify for them. You want to take out of those 50,000. You want to take money and spend it in the community or spend it in the employee, the environment. So they need justification. So you are actually taking out of their profit, out of the money that they should take themselves, money in their pockets, and you are taking the money from their pockets and spend it for actually, yani, quote unquote, they will consider it. You are wasting this. So that's why you need to go through too many justification in case you wanna, in case you want to. Will go through many justification in case you want to spend money. Want to spend money for CSR activities.
Yeah, thank you.
لاحظ يعني this is the same thing when we are talking about what CSR, how CSR could benefit you in the short term and in the long term. Some of the activities, it might lead you to short-term costs, but may lead to long-term gains. Such, for example, if you are reducing the emission, it means that you have to spend more money, new equipment, to reduce this emission, right? So in the short term, this will look like it's a cost. In the long term, that you will be, at least you will be one of those, one of the people who are who are supporting the green environment, which may, in the long term, you will not be paying fines, tickets, law. If there is a new law, you will be away from, you will avoid this, the new laws that it will come for the emission, for example, for emission reduction. So in the short term, it's cost. In the long term, you save the tickets. And you save bad name, to have bad name in the industry or in the country that you are causing a pollution in the air. If you are doing, for example, you are doing CSR activities, and the beneficiary of those activities are your employees. In the short term, it may look like that you are wasting money or there is a cost that you are spending on the employees. A long term, this will cause employee retention. Employees retention. يكون عندي high retention, high employee retention inside the organization, means that I'm saving in the recruitment and the training costs of having new employees each year or each 2 years. عندي saving بالcosts. فعشي بصير عندك employees, they love the organization, they are attached, engaged with the organization. These things will retain those employees. They will not look for new jobs or go away from your. Same thing when you do things to the society. The results of doing activities with the society, it will give you a customer loyalty. CSR is one of the reasons that, one of the things that you could use it to gain customer loyalty for your business or for the products and services that you are selling. وضحت الصورة؟ Here. The last part of this lecture اللي هو we will be talking about why it's difficult. أول سبب why it's difficult CSR, why it's difficult whether you are in a small business or are in large corporation. Why it is difficult to implement. The first reason we just stated in the previous slide. Sometimes it's very hard to justify the amount of money or amount of profit, amount of money that you wanna use it to cover CSR activities. Second, one of the second reasons, implementation. There are many problem in the implementation of CSR activities because there is no one size. Each organization is different. The profit and the way that the people are thinking, the way the investors are thinking, or the owners' expectations are different from each organization. So there is no one size fits all, one model or steps that you can use it for all the organization. In large corporation, it's easier to implement CSR. Why? Because there is standardization and there is formulation and there is plans, there is strategic plans, risky plans, competitive plans. So it's easier to apply it in large corporation. Also, those large corporations, they are making profits. They are making profits, and usually they are owned by shareholders who usually do not mind if you take some of the profit to spend CSR activities, as long as they are justified. Smaller business, it's kind of harder to implement CSR because those organization or most of those organizations, the smaller businesses, they are owned by people, person or family businesses. They are informal. They are loose. There's not too much control. So there are problems, or it's much harder to apply CSR in those. That's mainly the main significance differences between large and small corporations. Large corporation, as I see, it's most of them, they have even a CSR policy which developed at the brand level and implemented from top down. So top management, board of directors, top management, they support CSR activities. While in smaller businesses, most of small business owners, they CSR, or they consider it as an additional, unnecessary activity. Additional activity, it's a cost. They do not see that there is a benefit or a real benefit from applying CSR. That's why if you look to the research of the academic research on CSR, find it mostly concentrating on large organization, businesses. That's it for our lecture today actually. نفتح باب أسمع منكم questions or your comments on the lecture.
دكتور أنا بالنسبة لي لا، ما في أسئلة على اللكتشر، بس ممكن إذا بيخلصوا زملائي ممكن في أسئلة بمواضيع أخرى.
زملائي الآخرين أسألكم واحد. سوزان.
Doctor, no questions from my side. Thank you.
كبير. ريتاج.
يعطيك العافية دكتور. clear.
عمر.
Everything is clear, doctor. Thank you.
ديان.
كثير دكتور، بس دكتور بدي أسألك الاثنين في عنا محاضرة أنا ومعن ولا لا؟
اثنين.
ولا خلص تمام مشينا في كل إشي؟
هلا انتم مشيتوا، ضل عندنا chapter 5 بس. Chapter 5 we will go again إن شاء الله for everyone, we will review it again يعني one more time chapter 5.
يعني تمام هيك ما في محاضرة
انتم
يوم.
المفروض انكم مشيتوا الشابترز الاولى بريدر 1 2 chapter 1 2 3 4 مشيتوا مع الباقيين.
تمام دكتور.
هلا هي ريدر 3 اول chapter هيكم حضرتوا المحاضرة مع الباقيين يعني as the rest of colleagues.
شكرا دكتور.
معا. معا, we cannot hear you. شكلك عامل ميوت. طيب نازنين.
All clear, doctor. Thank you.
All clear?
Yes, thank you.
Next week, inshallah, we will start with the part leadership. We will talk about some of the leadership next Saturday, inshallah. And please read the TMA2. I already put TMA2 on LMS page. So we will discuss that. We will discuss the topic of leadership, and we will go through TMA. Can start writing your.
دكتور أنا دورت في الويب سايت بس ما شفت TMA2. موجود TMA1 لحد الآن.
All right. TMA.
Yes.
I will upload it.
Okay. دكتور بالنسبة للدراسة للامتحان، من وين نبلش دراسة؟ نبلش من الشابترز الموجودة أو
يس الشابترز اللي خلصناها هلا المفروض ندرسها يعني.
هي نفسها اللي بتعرض لنا إياها بكل كلاس، هي هاي اللي ندرس منها؟
Actually رتبت لكم إياهم أنا عشان تدرسوا من وين. share this page with you. أنا رتبت لكم إياهم بطريقة مختلفة شوي اليوم.
يس ريدر 1 وريدر 3 يعني مفصولين.
يس هلا مفصول عندكم. شفتوا الشاشة هاي رايت؟
يس.
هلا عندنا ريدر 1. عندي شابتر 1 شابتر 2 3 4 5 هدول اللي مطلوب منكم تقرأوهم مادة القراءة. هلا ممكن تستعينوا شوي بالباوربوينتس اللي موجودة. مثلا عندنا زي organization زي عندنا يونت 1 كانت بتحكي عن شابتر 2. شابتر 1 ما في شيء، لكن على جميع الأحوال موجودة الباوربوينتس اللي تحت سبتمبر 17 موجود فيه ملخص الريدر. الملخص هذا اللي موجود
يس.
ملخصات. بتدرس لازم تدرس الوورد دوكيومنت اللي موجود على الشابتر. تستعين حكينا بيونت 1 اللي هي الانفورميشن اوف مانجمنت كلتشر. اليوم الكوربريت سوشيال ريسبونسابيلتي رايت.
يس.
تدرسهم هدول، تدرس الباوربوينت معهم، تطلع فل.
طب دكتور بس one more question، متى بنقدر نشوف أمثلة على الامتحانات السابقة؟ بس لأنه يعني تريد كيف ندرس، كيف نفكر، كيف نصيغ الجواب. يعني يمكن أغلبنا فصل أول أو فصل ثاني لسه جداد شوي على الجو.
بجيب لكم إن شاء الله. لا بنجيب عينات إن شاء الله.
Yes.
I have a question as well. When we'll be taking the final exams?
Final exams on January. I don't have the exact date, but it's final exams will start January 2nd.
Okay, thank you.
From January 2nd till January 15th. have 2 weeks examination period. I don't know the exact day of, not yet. I don't have the schedule for exact dates for them. Once we have it, it will be published on LMS.
Thank you, Doctor.
وضحت يا دانا؟
Yes, perfect. بس هو
يعني
شوي
هلا-
يعني كل
هلا ما بدنا نستنى، المفروض انه احنا خلصنا ريدر 1 رايت؟ هلا ريدر 1 هذا مطلوب منا نقرا الموجودين تحت ريدر 1 الفايف تشابترز. هلا احنا اليوم بلشنا في ريدر 3، خلصنا تشابتر 1، هلا عندنا تشابتر 2. تمام؟ هدول مطلوب منا انه هدول مطلوبين قراءة. هلا في اديشنال ريدرز، هدول احيانا انا الاديشنال ريدنجز اللي بيكون موجود في الباوربوينت اشياء زيادة عن اللي ممكن انتم تقرأوا بالريدر، بتشوفوا اشياء زيادة بالباوربوينت، هدول انا بكون اوريدي جايبهم انا منهم الاديشنال ريدر. تمام؟ خاصة لما نبلش المرة الجاي راح نبلش بالليدرشيب، رح ناخذ الليدرشيب، فرح نستخدم مثلا ليدرشيب از بيرسون، ورح نستخدم الكل ليدرشيب، رح نستخدمهم من additional readings، يعني راح يكون في معلومات إضافية من الاديشنال readings.
اوكي.
هلا البارت هذا اسهل بصراحة، ريدر 3، مع انه البارت الاولاني مش شايفه صعب، لكن هذا شوي اسهل، يعني تقريبا زي محاضرة اليوم البقيات، يعني اشياء مواضيع براكتيكال easier. Any other questions?
No, thank you.
يعطيكم العافية.
الله يعافيك.
I will upload this lecture. I will upload it and send you the link.